We are investors here. I don't see why we should keep on hanging on the 106,000. Madam Speaker, we can engage the pension scheme here. They start investing so that members, the contributors, can have more money in future. They have the risk, they have the return. We cannot keep on hanging here because of that money, yet our money is sitting somewhere in the bank.
Honorable Makau, you have 1.5 minutes, but there's a point of intervention, which I'll reserve your minutes from the member for... No, she has to move. Obara Akinyi? The member for...
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
What is out of order?
Madam Speaker, there's a confusion and we need to be clear about what we are talking about. I've had members talking about defined contributory, and yet I believe that what we have here is defined benefit. So I'm calling upon the chair or the mover, because I believe it is defined benefit, not contributory. So can we be very clear what we are talking about?
Very well. I'm sure you've done your contribution.
Am I clear? Because we have, if you look at the amendment, you can clearly see that there is a formula that is being used, and the benefit is defined at the end what you're going to get, and that is the one.
The Honorable Obara wants to be given the different.
Yeah. I'm saying that I believe is defined benefit, but I'm hearing a lot of my colleagues here talking about defined contributory.
Honorable Makau, you have 1.5 minutes, but before that, there's a proposer to inform you, and I'm sure the chair, the mover is also in the house, is taking note on that. Honorable Obara, do you want to be informed by the Honorable Leader of Minority, because I can see the chair is taking note on this? Please be on record. It's a house of record and rule.
Can we be very clear?
Do you want to be informed?
Yes,
by
I
the
do.
Leader of Minority?
Yes, I do.
Leader
Thank
of
you.
Minority, please,
Accepted.
can you inform the Honorable Obara on the same?
Yeah, thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honorable Eve Obara is very right. The pension scheme that we have is not a defined contributory scheme. It's a defined benefit scheme. Your benefit is defined. It is worked at the number of months you have served in this parliament, divided by 300 months, which actually is determined as the maximum, and then multiplied by your basic salary in the last 12 months, and the formula goes on. You multiply by 3.75. If you come to my office, I can give you the full details. But then, Madam Speaker, I think where confusion is arising is that after that defined benefit, our actuaries worked on how do you sustain this scheme, and came up with a contribution that a member must put in every month. So that contribution, we, as members of parliament, we contribute 12.6%, but that does not make it a defined contribution scheme. That just makes it a contribution to sustain the defined benefit scheme. I hope it is a bit now clear.
So in a nutshell, it's defined benefits. Honorable member, there is an intervention. That was information from Honorable Leader of Minority to Honorable Obara. Honorable Millie Odhiambo, member for Suba North. You are on point, or you also to continue informing?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You are on point of order?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm very happy that in this house we have different skills. Honorable Mbadi, who is speaking from a finance perspective, I will speak from a legal perspective. And when you are talking as a lawyer,
Honorable Millie Odhiambo, are you on point of order?
Yes, I'm on a point. I'm on a point of order, but I have to give a background to my point of order.
Oh, I thought you wanted to inform further, Honorable Obara.
Yes, it's part of the informing, but as a point of order. Madam Speaker, because Honorable Mbadi, Honorable Mbadi is
Honorable Millie Odhiambo, please be specific. What is out of order? What is your point of order, or are you in point
Yes, my point of order is that Honorable Mbadi, who is seeking to inform us, has actually not informed us, so I need him to be clear. And I'm giving this as a background. And the background is that when you say that you have a system that is contributory and at the same time fixed, and as a lawyer, that is actually a mongrel. So what we need for purposes of us documenting this, we need to be very clear, even in its information, what system we have, because the system we have is
allow
a
me
mongrel.
save you now. Honorable Millie Odhiambo, allow me save you. I know you're a senior member in the House. Or you, it's a point of information, or you are further informing. Or Honorable, the leader of minority is misinforming. No, Honorable Macom. Honorable Millie, then now I intervene, as I intervene, Honorable Millie is seeking your clarification, Honorable Leader of Minority, for you to satisfy our clarification. However, it is on notice that you are informing
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Obara.
Madam Speaker, I hope this is going to be the last one. I understand the dilemma of Millie. Let me just clarify it simply this way. Even defined benefit schemes, what happens usually is you define what a member is supposed to get, then you work backwards on how much should be contributed towards that defined benefit scheme. So defined benefit schemes does not imply that members cannot contribute.
Very well.
Members can contribute, members may not contribute, depending on the kind of the scheme. But the defined, Madam Speaker, let me just finish this, please. But defined contributory scheme is where you define what a member is supposed to contribute, and based on that, now you work on how much that would generate to be given as pension.
Very well.
So you are starting from contribution to benefit. The other one, you work from benefit backwards.
Thank you,
I
Leader
hope
of
it
Minority.
makes
You
some
already
sense.
did your contribution. Please, you are just informing the Honorable Member for Bara. I'm sure you've heard Honorable Millie, but Honorable Millie, knowing the procedure of the oath, she still have a chance to say and either inform another member. So with that information to Honorable Bara, I give back now, and the House also is informed, I give back to Honorable Macau with 1.5
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, yesterday I had a chance to watch Senate proceedings. And Madam Speaker, this topic of points of order arose. There are many members who are intervening on points of order, yet they want to contribute. Madam Speaker, this is a house of rules and regulations. If a member is rising on a point of order, they must state it as it is in the standing order. Don't just allow someone to say point of order and is not stating or she is not stating. Madam Speaker,
now you have 1 minute.
Madam Speaker,
You have 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, obviously, when I was contributing, when a member is contributing and so many points of order which are not even pointed at him.
The Honorable Macau, you cannot be
Thank
the
you,
speaker.
Madam
You are
Speaker.
actually out of order yourself. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Oh, okay.
It is important, Madam Speaker, for members, as we were supporting this bill, as I said, we should fear being poor. Madam Speaker, we must invest. And we must pursue that line of SRC that they pay us as per the Gazette notice that was issued by SRC. We should not forget that. For members, you and me, who are affected by such. Madam Speaker, again, let me let me remind members, it is true, it is very unfortunate that as we contribute, we fear what Kenyans will say. This is our own contribution, it is our own welfare, and I think we should put it the way it is, we should speak it the way it is, and we have all seen how former members of parliament are suffering out there. Madam Speaker, even as we speak now, the medical scheme of this parliament, it is so meager, 300,000 per family, Madam Speaker. Outpatient is so minimum. So we should even also insist on our medical scheme being improved so that with this COVID, Madam Speaker, diseases are imminent and we need to be medically covered.
Very well. All the members, allow me make this communication that every other member seeking to stand on a point order, please, I will direct that you should be able to tell the House and state which point of order as far as your standing order is concerned. Order Macau, we have point of information. There are different points of orders. So members, please familiar yourself. We have 2 years to go with your own standing orders. Otherwise, you'll be ruled out of order. And so I give this opportunity to the member for Tinderet, Honorable KB Watt Meli. Nothing is out of. Yes.
Thank you.
No, wait.
Thank you.
Order. The member abstanding. It is the floor belongs to the member for Kideret.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think.
Yes. Now that is already on record, that is the member on the floor. Let me hear what is your point of order, member for Wajir North.
Madam Speaker, I rise on standing order 9.5. Madam Speaker, going by the mood of the House. Madam Speaker, going by the mood of the House, every member is supporting this issue, regardless of the language they use to support. So far, I have not seen any member opposed to this position. Madam Speaker, will I be in order to ask the Speaker, to ask the mover to be called?
Order members, order, and Honorable Meli, you, as far as the procedures are concerned, if another member is supposed to resume your seat.
I think it is within my rights to rise. Yeah.
The member for Wajir North is quite in order procedurally, but the Speaker can only put the question for the House to take the matter. And so I do put the question that is pursuant to Standing Order number 95, as expressed well by the Honorable Member, for the debate to be put into a closure. I put the question, will as many as of this opinion say aye? Aye. And as many as our contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it. So we carry on. Honorable Ameli.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support this bill, and I want to say that, honourable members, I think today this House has done a lot of justice to former members and the current members, especially in the 2 bills that we dealt with in the morning. Honourable members, if I just want to say this, Madam Speaker, that the bill that, especially the parliamentary pension bill that is before this House, is doing a lot of justice, especially on members' retirement benefits. As members have just put it, the bill that we discussed in the morning discussed mainly on issues that affected former members. It is in this House that, even within the presence of this building, in this Parliament, we've seen retired members who are actually working or living in a life of hand to mouth. Many of them cannot even afford medical bills. They cannot even afford their own basic needs, like rent, fare, and many others. So today, I think this House will go down, the 12th Parliament will go down, as having been considerate, especially of the former members who served in the 80s, 90s, and up to very recently. On this other bill, Madam Speaker and members, the Pensions Committee, I think, has done a good job. However, there is only need to have this bill be very clear. It will be very clear, especially on the 2 terms that I've seen the Honourable Leader of Minority and the other legal experts in this House trying to actually come out with a very clear pension scheme that is either contributory and one that is going to be earned as a result of the organization paying, that is the Kenya National Assembly. But if you look at the 2 bills, this bill is very important because after every member leaves this House, and it is common to all Kenyans, that every member of Parliament is also a social security individual. He is a moving social security individual. Wherever he is supposed to pay for funeral expenses, he is supposed to pay for medical bills, he is supposed to do all manner of social security in the society. Such that at the end of his term, either 5, 10 or 15 years, that particular individual has not invested anything for himself. So without this kind of bill, most of us will retire paupers. It will be very difficult for a number of us here today in the next 10, 15 years to pay for their own bills. They cannot even afford the medical bills that they are supposed to have, because as at now, I think Honorable Mbadi had just put it very clear, from 50s to 60s, a number of us are getting old. And by that, you need to have a very good medical scheme. And I just want to ask the Pensions Committee to relook at this issue of retired medical scheme for members of parliament. I'm saying so because currently we have a very good medical scheme. But immediately your term is over, the only place a member of parliament can afford is the county referral hospital, a county dispensary. So we need to really look at this, because he is a man or a woman who has served with dignity in this house. He has passed a number of laws. He has actually held position of responsibility for some time. And therefore, like other countries in the world, he needs to have a very good medical scheme. So therefore, Madam Speaker and members, I propose that the Pensions Committee will look at it so that we have a very good medical scheme for these members. And at the same time, the issue of even the retired councillors, if you look at in our municipalities and even in our villages, many of them cannot even afford food and fees for their children. This is time for us to look into that. I support, and I ask the members to also support. Thank you.
Very well. Now let's get the member for Arienda, Dr. Atieno Amolo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, having now come...
Sorry, it's not Otieno Amolo, Senior Counsel.
Yes, it's
I
Otieno
understand
Amolo.
Atieno is a lady.
Well, we use them interchangeably.
Oh, okay.
But for this, for purposes of record...
Amolo, Senior Counsel.
Yes, that is so much. Madam Speaker, I have now combed through this bill, and it's a unique day because we've had to consider 3 bills on pensions, 2 in the morning, and I suspect most of us were not there given the rotational nature of Parliament, and 1 in the afternoon. Madam Speaker, having considered this bill, I stand to support it. First of all, it should be understood that one of the things that this bill seeks to cure is an illegality. I think until this bill becomes law, any member of the Senate who gets any benefits under the Parliamentary Pensions Act would be benefiting from an illegality, because that act only refers to members of the National Assembly. To the extent that this bill changes the words National Assembly to Member of Parliament, it therefore enables members of the Senate who've served for 2 terms and beyond to benefit lawfully. Secondly, and I've agonized about this for some time, is it possible that we will be accused of breaching Article 116, Sub-Article 3 of the Constitution, to confer a benefit to ourselves? I think this is something that we must make very clear. As I understand this bill, it merely seeks to give an election. As a member of Parliament, serving for 1 term, you are entitled to a gratuity. The same gratuity that you are entitled to if you serve in offices like the Ombudsman, in which I served. At the end of the 6 years, you get a gratuity. But this bill seeks to give you the opportunity to make an election between a one-off gratuity and a delayed pension spread over time. To that extent, not only is it not necessarily a financial burden, it is not a benefit, it is a conversion. And it is very important that we get the terminology right. Speaking to what the leader of minority was talking about, whether it's a defined benefit scheme or a defined contributory scheme, I would urge that we adopt the word defined contributory scheme. Because if you adopt the word defined benefit scheme, you already fall into the trap of saying you are conferring a benefit on yourselves. That is not something we need to go into. Let us be clear that we are making this an election. Instead of the one-off gratuity, we are spreading it into a pension. And for that reason, it is not anything that would contradict Article 116. Madam Speaker, under Article 116, it is a direct pecuniary interest that we are barred from conferring on ourselves. And if we do, then it can only take effect after the next election. Where it's a conversion, where you are voluntarily determining that instead of getting a gratuity, let us spread it over to a pension, it does not offend Article 116. Is it an issue of conflict of interest? Of course not, because first of all, we are covering former members of parliament who are not here to speak for themselves. Secondly, we are covering senators who are not in the National Assembly. But lastly, it's a matter of necessity, because only parliament can make law. As long as you are dealing with any law on gratuity on pension, we can't take it to the cabinet to pass it. We can't take it to anyone else. We must make it here ourselves. Indeed, Madam Speaker, I think that this bill also seeks to cure an abnormality, a discriminatory abnormality, that if you have served as a member of parliament for 2 terms and beyond, then you are entitled to a pension. I believe it's 300,000 or something. But if you serve for 1 term, you are not entitled to any such thing. It does not make sense. I believe that it is okay if you serve for 1 term to be entitled to a pension pro rata. If you've served for 2 terms and more, you get more, that is fine. But if you serve for only 1 term, get what is due to you pro rata. There's nothing illegal about that. It is all very rational. In closing, 2 issues though. I think the mover will have to look into 2 things. One is the question of transition. From when does this take effect? Does it mean that if it becomes law, then all of us make that election now as if we had made it at the beginning of our term? Or does it take effect in 2022? Secondly, in Section 9, that seeks to amend Section 8.1b, it is Section 8.1b that talks of 2 terms. But in this bill, this motion, they only seek to delete Section 9a and not Section 8.1a and not Section 8.1b. If you don't delete Section 8.1b, then you're speaking in vain. Thank you.
The member for Kiamba, Koinange Paul, Honorable.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I really want to congratulate Mwadime for the bill, and I know there's a lot of courage to do that, because I know there are very many people out there who are really opposed, especially the media, both mainstream and social media. Madam Speaker, I have only few things to say, and one of them, Madam Speaker, as I support this bill, it is actually to note that even in other countries like the US and the UK and Canada, they have a similar program for their parliamentarians. So this is good, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, something which I think you need to guide us, it is worth noting that there are currently 3 amendment bills under consideration in the National Assembly, basically addressing more or less that same subject matter. They include this bill by the Honorable Andrew Mwadime, MP, namely the Parliamentary Pension Amendment Bill number 3, and also National Bill number 57 of 2019, the second one by Honorable John Bundy, MP, namely the Parliamentary Pension Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2019, and finally the one by Honorable Wangari Waneki, MP, namely the Parliamentary Pension Amendment Bill number 2, Bill, National Assembly Bill number 56 of 2019. Madam Speaker, I would like to request you to give direction possible to consolidate these 3 bills, to harmonize them, and I think many members have mentioned the same, and you can guide us on that. So if it is possible to consolidate these 3 bills, so harmonize them, and we can come up with a better bill than split 3 bills. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. This is a house of debates, and I'm sure the members are here, and in the event such that can always be communicated officially through the Speaker's office. But for now, we have the bills as they are in the order paper, as we may be debating. The member for, yes, the Nikals Wambura, the member for Seme constituency.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I arise to support this bill. Madam Speaker, what this bill does is really to amend the parliamentary pension scheme so that it's aligned with the Constitution, and two, it is also aligned with the requirement of the Salary Review Commission that actually provided that members of parliament get gratuity, even if they work for they are in parliament for just one term. Mr. Speaker, the further benefits that accrue actually do recognize the special social circumstances of members of parliament. The working conditions of members of parliament are actually unique. And even in labor laws, there are what are called compensable factors. So if your working circumstances are such that you actually spend a lot arising from your own income, that is a compensable factor. If you actually have responsibility, which takes your time, takes your resources, which you'd otherwise use for yourself, that compensable factor should be compensated for. And I think this bill does that. And it does basically about four things, Madam Speaker. One, it allows payment to the first-time members of parliament and provides that this they can take either in gratuity or they can take it as pension. And I think Honorable Tiende actually delineated that and the virtue of the need to describe it as just getting our gratuity and deciding to take it as a pension, to remove the issue of conferring benefits to ourselves, and therefore perhaps dictate that this is implemented much later. Madam Speaker, this bill also recognizes that the National Assembly, the Parliament consists of the National Assembly and Senate, and therefore harmonizes that has been a problem. And I think that's extremely important. Madam Speaker, if you go to some clauses as Clause 16, there are a lot of bureaucracy that it has removed from the Mother Act. For example, if you look at Clause 16, amending Clause 21, and Clause 21 was saying that before any payment was made, there was need for the Auditor General to approve. Now, that is a huge bureaucratic problem, and I think the removal of that will make things much easier. You also realize that, I think in Clause 22, I think the Clause 17 or 18, which is amending the other one, the 22, which also was saying that if there is to be actuarial studies to assess the viability of this, that request needs to come from the President. I can't understand why that was necessary. It removes it from that, and now it goes to the Parliamentary Service Commission, and that's actually what it should be. Madam Speaker, it also amends the tribunal, the composition of the tribunal, so that members of Parliament or the Parliamentary Service Commission are actually included. To that extent, Madam Speaker, I find that this is a bill that has been well thought out, taking care of a real big need of members of Parliament, whether they are still, when they retire, so that they live a decent life. Madam Speaker, it also provides that widows of members of Parliament can actually receive payment, and widowers, I accept the correction, can also be paid. It also defines, as the Constitution dictates, that a child is somebody above the age of 18 years. Now, Madam Speaker, but the bigger issue that the country should look at is actually social security. The issue of members of Parliament is just heightened by our condition and the work we do. But all members of the society need to be looked at, and that is why the social security policy in this country should be implemented far beyond the cash transfers that we are giving and thinking that is a big thing. And health is an important factor that has not been included here in terms of health.
Very well. Now we can have the Honorable Millie Odhiambo Mabona, member for Suba North, to make no official contribution.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I do support, and I'd want to say that as Honorable Tiende was looking at it with a toothpick, unfortunately, I'm not able to because I forgot my glasses, but I will do so for purposes of ensuring that I've not left anything out, because it's something that concerns us. Nonetheless, Madam Speaker, I just want to respond to something that the Honorable Chair, is it of Transport, I can't remember, has raised about 3 different bills that have come before the House. If they have if the content is very similar, then I would suggest that the committee where Honorable TJ Kajwang sits, where you are complaining that you don't have a lot of work, you have actually a lot of work, one of which is to amend the standing order so that we can have co-sponsorship of bills, because that has become a challenge. Let us have co-sponsorship of bills, then we will not have this. Madam Speaker, other than that, I want to just say that the work of the Member of Parliament is work in the public service, and being a work in the public service, it is not supposed to enrich us, Madam Speaker. But nonetheless, it is also not supposed to make us paupers. It's just supposed to be work that enables you get by, and when you retire, you are not supposed to be a pauper begging people on the streets. And having said that, I just want to say that a lot of people have a fallacy that being a member of Parliament enriches us unduly. What I would want to encourage other members is, in quote, using this Kiswahili word, tenda wema, nenda zako. It does not matter what you do, people will always complain. Madam Speaker, even as we are speaking now, there is one area in my constituency that was complaining that I have not built the school. So I decided I am bringing 4 classrooms at once. Now, what is their complaint? Why are the materials put in the middle of the school? People will always complain, and if it is not that, they will ask, why is there a toilet or non-toilet? So you do your work as a member of Parliament, but be guided by certain principles which I see in this bill, despite not having my eyes. One of the principles that I see why I'm supporting is, 1, the issue of constitutionality. I know Honorable Tiende has raised the issue of Article 1168, which says that we cannot confer direct pecuniary interest until the next elections. So indeed, if we can translate this to mean that there's direct pecuniary interest that is going to be conferred to us, then we must find wording that cannot confer direct pecuniary interest now. But the primary word here is direct. So we will have to actually say whether there's direct pecuniary interest. If there is no direct, then it can be passed and be effective now. Madam Speaker, there's also the issue of equality, if you are talking about principles. And in the principle of equality, National Assembly cannot benefit while Senate is left out. We are all members of Parliament. So we are basically following the principle of equality in the Constitution. The issue of non-discrimination, that I've had a lot of Kenyans always complain when you talk about anything to do with the remuneration of members of Parliament. There's a lot of complaint, yet when you look at officers in the executive that rank pari passu with us, they actually earn much better. Madam Speaker, if you look at what, I don't know what the title, but the ones that are assistant ministers, actually earning better than us. Yet in reality, if you look at the order, and I was actually one of the people who came up with the Constitution, they are not supposed to rank at the same level with us. But they actually earn more, they are given more because of that position. Yet we are the ones who work directly with the public. Madam Speaker, that is why I'm never apologetic, because at the end of the day, I know whatever I get in Parliament and outside goes direct to Suba North. So I have no apologies, Madam Speaker, because my time is almost up. The other issue I want to talk about is that I'm happy on the issue of harmonization with the Children Act, which provides that now it's 18 years and also include children of up to 25. Inclusion, Madam Speaker, we need to include former councillors. As I was coming here, Councillor Odio, who is the chair of councillors of Homa Bay, was asking me, Madam Speaker, I'm happy that we have added widows, widowers, and we have removed the issue that was discriminating against unmarried girls. So, Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I wish to support.
You support very well for the legal minds. Thank you. Honorable Kajwang, you are top on my list, but because you had walked out for consultation a few minutes ago, you came. But allow me first, as you said, I give it to the member for Kitutu Masaba, Shadrach Mose. Then, yes, you are the next on the request.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me an opportunity also to add my voice to this very important bill. And from the onset, I want to say that I support. Madam Speaker, when we talk about the aspect of pension, and particularly to members of parliament, is a thorny issue that out there would
just let me cut you short a bit. There are members, including the Honorable Kajwang, who wanted to speak to the PIC. It is important that I amount that have 10 requests, but it's a mix of members who want some to speak to PIC, others want to speak to this. So I think our members should be patient. We'll get time to speak to this. Very well, carry on.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So when we talk about this, it arouses a lot of concern out there, and members of the public, members that we serve, would always view or look at us very negatively. And particularly today, Madam Speaker, which is very unique, that the whole day, since morning and this afternoon, we have actually had a chance to discuss about this. And we have many other stakeholders who are also affected that would want to see and hear what we are commenting about this. But I am delighted, Madam Speaker, that first, this bill seeks to align itself with the Constitution. And indeed, it has taken us too long before we have actually had, brought this into action. And there are salient issues that arise, Madam Speaker. And I'm impressed that if you look at Section 2, subsection 2 of this bill, which states that the provision of this act shall apply to any person who is a member of Parliament on or at any time after the commencement of this act. Then 2 of it says, Section 3A and 7 of this act shall apply to a person who is on or after 28 March 2013 was a member of Parliament. Madam Speaker, that actually tells us that our members of Parliament who have left the House after 28 March 2013, together with the bill that we discussed in the morning, which was very specific, would be beneficiaries after we pass this bill. That therefore means, Madam Speaker, if you have had a chance, I'm sure all of us have had a chance to interact with former members of Parliament. And when you meet them out there, you actually will not want to believe that they were the role models that many of us admired, even when they had their contribution and participation in legislating for this country. They did a splendid job. But when you meet them, the manner in which they dress, the fact that they are unable to meet their medical bills, the fact that some of them are unable to live a reasonable life, the fact that some of them are not even able to pay rent, they are not even able to get sustenance, actually commends that we actually move with speed and ensure that we pass this bill, so that we are able to give at least spark to those role models that we so much admired, to ensure that they also lead a reasonable life. There is also, Madam Speaker, the aspect of the medical bill or medical cover for retired members of Parliament. That is something that we also need as we legislate and, at the stage of the Committee of the Whole House, make serious amendments. There's also one thing that I really wanted to agree with the Honorable Karuma, and I would urge him to seriously bring that amendment, that pension, is, as we are speaking in this one, should actually be distinguished from what we call gratuity. Because, Madam Speaker, if you look at the gratuity that we want to confuse, is something that is earned by civil servants, by members of the judiciary out there. But we, as members of Parliament, are actually disentitled. And we need to come out very clearly, define it, ensure that as a member of Parliament, you earn that gratuity, and then we deal with the pension the way it is. I can see my time is up, but I see my colleagues like Honorable Teacher. We need to invest seriously in this act so that other beneficiaries, like the councillors, like other civil servants who have retired and are not benefiting, becomes beneficiaries in this legislation. With that, Madam Speaker, I support.
You support very well. Then let me have the member for North Hall, the Honorable Nganya Chachu. Nganya Chachu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in supporting this bill, and I really want to thank Honorable Mwadime and the members of the Parliamentary Pension Committee for a very good work. This morning we had another bill, again trying to support the former members of Parliament, those who have served in this House before us, and now we are also trying to ensure that the current members and future members also be entitled to their right, because I do strongly believe pension for those who have provided service in public service is a right, not a privilege. Madam Speaker, and we should not be afraid of making the laws. We are parliamentarians, and we are the lawmakers in this country. All we are trying to do by amending this act is basically to align it to the 2010 Constitution. And that's our mandate, it's our job, and we should do it. And it's unfortunate that it took us 10 years to do this, while we have done for all other acts that have been aligned to the Constitution today. Madam Speaker, I really want to commend the Honorable Mbadi this morning for moving for the bill that we passed, because it's only now going for the assent of the President, and I really hope the President will assent to it, and these former members of Parliament, those who have served in that period where they're entitled to a pension, but they're getting very minor, very small amount in terms of pension, will be able to get something decent to support them for the rest of their life. Madam Speaker, I strongly do support this bill in the sense that the members of Parliament who are fortunate to only serve in this House for only one term should be entitled to pension. Madam Speaker, even in the neighboring country of Uganda, the US Congress, in the UK, members of Parliament, even if they serve for 2 terms in the US, because their term is 2 terms in the Congress, are entitled to a pension. And it should be done on pro rata, depending on the years of service that you have served. If you are lucky enough to have served, like the former President, Honorable Mwai Kibaki, for 50 years, you should be entitled to for that period. If you have served for 5 years, likely so. And if you have served for even 15 years, like me and others here, should be the same. And I really do hope that the committee will actually come with that amendment. That amendment to enable first-time members of Parliament to benefit is not in this bill as it is now. And I really hope members of Honorable Mwadime is here and the members of the committee will ensure that that amendment should come, and the members of Parliament who are in their first term are majority here. Please stand up for yourself. We'll support you and ensure that we pass that. And if it takes for us to override the veto of the President by 2/3, we should stand up to the occasion and do what's right for ourselves and for the future members of this House. it's upon us to defend the dignity of this House now and in the future. Madam Speaker, the issue of a medical scheme, Honorable Speaker, the issue of the medical scheme for former members of Parliament, I think is something genuine, and we should look into ways that we are going to do it in a very modest way, not to make it too expensive, but I think is right, and this scheme should enable the former members of Parliament to be able to access adequate medical care in their sunset years. Madam Speaker, also the clause whereby our spouses, widow or widower, are going to be supported in future, I think it's a good clause. It's really important that they get that benefit because even in other sectors, in the public service, even in the corporate world, they are entitled to those benefits when one of the spouses passes on. Madam Speaker, as I wind up, I really want to support the members of the...
Honorable Chachu, be careful.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
Madam Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'm well guided. Mr. Speaker, as I wind up, I really want the committee members to take a keen look at this bill and ensure that all the necessary amendments are done and we do what's right for this House, for now and for posterity. I support.
What is your point of order, Honorable Kwenya Duku? And you are seated in a pretty unusual place.
Yes, you know, from the date of 8th of March 2018, when the hardship came, we now mingle freely. We sit anywhere and we are happy. Mr. Speaker, I rise on a point of order number 95. Reading the mood of the House, we still have a lot of business to transact. And you know, we are only sitting once a week. I request that, Mr. Speaker, that you, the mover be called upon to reply.
Honorable Kwenya, the truth of the matter, you cannot read the mood. It is only the Speaker who can read the mood. And the Speaker, to read the mood, is guided by the members. Yeah. And because Honorable Kwenya has raised it, yes, I am obligated to actually confirm the mood of the House, that actually the mover of this particular item be called upon to reply. So, honorable members, I'll put that question. Order, honorable, is that Honorable Shinari? Yes. Honorable members, I'll put the question that the mover be called upon to reply. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. Clearly the nays have it. Shall we have Honorable Oudo Ojiabo?
Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. We are a house of debate and we must be allowed to debate the bills before us without any intentions of shortcutting or shortcutting anybody. I stand here, Honorable Speaker, to support the Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill number 3 of 2019, sponsored and presented in this House by Honorable Mwadime. I must take this opportunity to thank him for having spared the time to actually come up with these amendments. Honorable Speaker, I want to start by making two important statements in respect of this matter. Honorable Speaker, first of all, Article 41 of the Constitution of Kenya requires that each member, each person, should be accorded fair labor practices. While it's granted that members of Parliament offer public service, but since the Constitution is explicitly clear that a member of Parliament can only hold the position of member of Parliament, cannot be allowed to engage in any other gainful employment, then the provisions of Article 41 should prevail in this respect. Honorable Speaker, eventually, after working, you will have to retire. You will have to stop working at one time or another, either by retirement or by being dismissed as a worker or by ultimate or untimely death, where you leave spouses or those people you supported. So this is the genesis of this particular amendment. Honorable Speaker, those who have spoken before me have made strenuous efforts to draw a distinction between defined benefits scheme and defined contribution scheme. And I think one of my colleagues has raised a question that in passing this bill, will be conferring direct benefits to us, contrary to the provisions of the law or not. Technically speaking, here we have a scheme that more or less marries the two. They add contributions that are clearly defined in terms of percentage, but most importantly, there are benefits clearly defined in the Act. So I would request the committee to really look at it very clearly and decide or probably come up with a terminology that prevents or safeguards the interests of this House and the purpose of this bill. Honorable Speaker, again, the issue of gratuity and pension, the line must be drawn very clear. While the Act seems to provide for a choice or a decision to be made by an individual, but where I stand and from what I understand, gratuity and pension are two separate issues. They should not be confused. Typically, if you work, your employer on Christmas Day can decide to give you a gift. That gift should not be deducted to any benefits that you will get for having served this, your employer. We want the public, the government of Kenya, Parliamentary Service Commission, to treat us the same way. So obviously then, we need to be very clear that these decisions to elect to either to go for gratuity or pension is going to cause a lot of confusion and might actually deny members of this House benefits that are due to them. The third issue that seems to be the issue here is what happens to first-timers, those who don't make it. Honorable Speaker, if you look at Clause 6 of the bill, it attempts to define reckonable service. Yet when you go to Clause 8 of the bill, seems to jumble up matters which will require addressing and for purpose of clarity. Honorable Speaker, I know my time is up, but as I conclude, we must also look at the MCS. We must also look at the former councillors. They served in public service. They are suffering outside there. With those few remarks, I beg to support.
Shall we now have Honorable Noor Sophia?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance to add my voice to this very, very important bill. From onset, I want to support the bill, and I want to say that what we are doing is a common practice in the Commonwealth countries, Mr. Speaker. And I've interacted with many Commonwealth parliamentarians and listened to them, and I shared some of our experience as a country, what our former members of parliament are going through. And the information they shared with me was that what we were doing what our country was doing to former members of parliament was not just, and it was not giving a good image as a country, Mr. Speaker. We know what our former parliamentarians are going through. We know, and it's a fact. And as I was listening today to many of honorable members contributing, they have all alluded to the fact that there is a problem that is affecting our former members of parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there are the developed countries where we have welfare system, and everybody who is less fortunate member of the society are covered under the welfare systems, Mr. Speaker. As a country, we do not have that welfare systems that can address issues that affect former members of parliament, Mr. Speaker. And I'm happy that the pension committee have realized the importance of addressing a crucial problem that is affecting our founders, people who have founded, people who have struggled, people who have given themselves, who have given this country a lot of their time, a lot of their sacrifice, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there are countries that senior citizens are given a lot of respect, Mr. Speaker. They are awarded, they're given tokens, they're given welfare, they're given medical cover, Mr. Speaker. But in our country, our senior citizens, people who have even fought for independence of this country, we know who have died because they could not afford Panadol, Mr. Speaker. And because of this, I think we'll get, this will cover a wider area of representation, Mr. Speaker, and that we look into all other people who have not benefited in terms of pension in our country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, medical systems in our country is very, very expensive. And we have seen people have auctioned their houses, their lands, their farms, and their animals. And today, they're destitute because of, caring of their loved ones who have gone through and been treated, Mr. Speaker. And because of that, we will ask the committee, when they're looking into the bill, they should consider and think critically about the medical covers of former members of parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, one other important thing that this bill is treating, which I feel it is important, is that issue of equality, issues of addressing, and that when the bill is looking at, when the law was looking at the National Assembly, this bill is coming to treat Parliament. And when we say Parliament, now we will cover our colleagues in the Senate. And that gives, legality whereby you do not leave a whole group of Kenyans who are serving and who are doing. And of late, for the last 2 weeks, they have been doing great to this country in trying to discuss the revenue allocation and the formula, Mr. Speaker. So we need to really, when we are doing our legislation should be a broad-based legislation that can cover the future, in that it will be addressing problems that will be facing in the future, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Your space is gone. And before I give to Honorable Hassan Marim, just to be sure, Honorable Jessica, you want to speak to this on the next one? Yeah, Honorable Jessica, Speaker.
Very well, thank you. I want to speak to both, but for this one, Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity just to add my voice and say that I do support the bill that has been moved by the Honorable Mwadime. Honorable Speaker, in my mind, serving the second term, I know and I've seen the life after Parliament by former members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in my mind, I have one Mr. Mboko, Mr. Speaker, he really served the people of Kibwezi. It was the former Kibwezi at large. And Mr. Speaker, I look how he served the people with a lot of passion. Mr. Speaker, looking at the former councillors, Mr. Speaker, the likes of Charlo Light, the likes of Councillor Kasiku, the likes of, that's why, Mr. Speaker, I'm saying as much as I am looking ahead on the bill that is of Public Investment Committee, that is a report, I wanted just to put my voice that I do support the bill. Mr. Speaker, let us not leave the senators, and most of the members have spoken to the proposed amendments that they would wish to come up with. Let us not forget about our medical cover after we leave this house. I want to assure the members, those who are here and outside, that this is a house that you come, you create a lot of enmity. It's a house of fight. that sometimes only 70% will make to come back to this house. Mr. Speaker, it's important to note that, in fact, that is the 11th and 12th Parliament, we have very young politicians who are 35, the youth, and it is important to consider them even when they get to the 45, unlike before when members of Parliament used to come to retire in Parliament. And that's why we have a great brains in this house. Issues of gratuity and pension, I'm sure, through the chair and the mover, that most of the amendments, possible amendments, has been captured. That given the work that is ahead of us on the Pubs Invest Committee, I just wanted to say that I do support.
You want to speak to this, or then? Please say something, but why is your chair saying you say something small?
Yes, because, I will take 5 minutes. He knows how brief I can get when I put my mind to it. You see, I've saved the house so that every member have had something to say about pensions. Just because, immediately you finish your elections, you are a farmer. This is what everybody must know. The same moment you have been voted in, you must consider yourselves as farmer. So if you are in this house, and you think that there is a problem or that there is some guilt around which you are unable to say that we should have pension, you are in the wrong forum. We are in the business of politics. And the business politics means some people will win, some people will lose. So the probability of loss is actually 90% for everybody, not just for first-timers, for everybody in this house. Because that attrition rate is worked by democracy that we have. You see, Mr. Speaker, my father is a retired teacher. He has a lot of problems with me that I joined politics. A lot of problems that I left a thriving legal practice for politics. Why? Because he has looked around and there is hardly any evidence, any person that he can say this, that he can see that after they left Parliament, they had anything. Including people in my hometown who are ministers. I had a minister for health. He perished the other time he was burying his spouse in deplorable conditions. I have the former members who are now deceased. Okukundiege. I have Tomboya. These are people that have done more than anybody in this house will do in the combined time. But you look at the life after their demise. My father is right that he cannot see any evidence why I should leave a thriving legal practice to come and put my time here. So if I have the opportunity and I have the floor and I have the power to make the law, I will make that law so that people who come after me will know that practice of politics is something which is you are giving to the society, but also you are not getting poor. The only thing, Mr. Speaker, sir, which I have found confounding in this discussion, why should people mix gratuity and pension? Those are different things. I'm waiting to hear from Wadime, as well as I've heard from other people. Because in law, at least from my background understanding in law, gratuity is a contractual term. It is out of contract. And pension is a social service. Those two things are different. If you have an employment, and then you say, at the end of this, you will get a gratuity of so many %, or that you will get this or that, that is your term of service. But pension, you get because it's a social benefit, because you have worked for the people. And the people must also not repay you, but take cognizance of the public service you have given. It is a social benefit. So these two things I heard the leader of majority say, that if you take gratuity, then you should consider forgoing. I don't see where that confusion is. In fact, it is that confusion that has faced the PSC. People who are first-timers in the other house, the other parliament, have been lining up here, looking for their gratuity. And I see no reason why they should not be paid. And then you see PSC saying that, we are waiting for a word from SRC. Why should they wait a word from SRC? This is gratuity. It is in the contract. It is known. Once I have served even one term, I get my gratuity, I go home. Even today, I'm entitled to. Except, of course, when I go to the next term. Then that gratuity is commuted because it will be compounded from total, it will be calculated for 2 terms rather than 1 term. But my pension, I save for it, and the government also saves for me. I don't see why there should be this confusion. Mr. Speaker, sir, we must make it very clear that gratuity is a contract term which we are entitled to. Pension is a social benefit which I'm working towards, and the government also is giving me something in recognition of the public service. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I support this bill.
I had mentioned Honorable Hassan Marim. Oh, you want to speak to the next one? That's fine. Shall we have Honorable Savura?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I like the spirit of this bill, that it seeks to align the pension under the new constitution, and it seeks to cure the deficit that has been there between National Assembly and the Senate. The Senate was being left out. But, Mr. Speaker, as I contribute, I wish to ask members that they are treading on a dangerous ground by putting the annex between this good bill with the poverty facing some of my members of parliament who are here. You are abusing the public direct. Let's put this bill direct. It's curing the constitutionality that was missing. Don't discuss issues of poverty in relation to this bill. You are creating a war between this House, the Senate, and members of the public. Members of the public are listening to you. Mr. Speaker, sir, we need to create an environment where social and health aspects are really catered for in institutions that will even cater for members of parliament. If you're a member of parliament and you have retired, or you have lost an election, you are a member of the public. Why should you be treated special? You are a member of the public. And 3/4 of us, we don't retire from politics. We are defeated. 3/4 of members of parliament here go to an election to contest to win the election, but the mood there becomes different. That's why you see members of parliament losing their seat. We need to have structures where we don't need to impoverish members of parliament. One is funeral contribution. A member of parliament becomes a mobile bank in the village. Why can't we have a benevolent fund created by the government to sort out that mess? Why can't we have a fund as fund? It's not a theory. Mr. Speaker, we are talking of things that can be implemented. We are a growing economy. We are not going backwards, but addressing the poverty that our former MPs are facing. By coming to parliament here is a matter of public service. You're not looking for an employment, my brothers. It's public service. You can either serve for free or get benefit from that. But what we are trying to do is to cure the unconstitutionality. That is what we should be debating about, not the poverty facing our fellow members of parliament. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are here on a contract of 5 years. We go back to an election and we come for another contract of 5 years. We are okay with that. If we are given benefits equivalent to a cabinet secretary, you will serve effectively your constituency, but through the structures I've talked about, benevolent and health scheme for your people and your family and yourselves. But let's not take us special. 30 million Kenyans live below poverty lines, my brothers. When you are debating this, let's be sensitive about those people, because this thing will come and haunt us in future. Let's stick to the matter of the Constitution. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Shall we have Honorable Ibrahim? Honorable Ibrahim, that member may intend to speak to the next one or is absent. Yes, Honorable Ibrahim, you want to speak to the next, I can tell.
Actually, Speaker, I don't want to speak to this, but my feeling is that we have debated on this subject for almost 4 hours. And cognizant of that fact, it is only fair that we observe time.
Well, Honorable Ibrahim,
Speaker,
there is nothing, Honorable Ibrahim,
yeah.
There is nothing unfair in a member debating. This House made a decision just a few minutes ago that they want to speak. But Honorable Ibrahim, don't be, there are just a few members actually remaining who want to speak to this. Actually, I think should be 2. And then there is a provision of time. In fact, we may not have very many members because this report has also a time. It's time, a limitation of time. So, shall we have Honorable Murungi Kaduri?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, together with my colleagues in the Public Investments Committee, we were lined up for order number 12 and 13.
Well.
But since I've been here from 2:30,
yes,
I want to make some good contribution and also to take care of my time this afternoon. I really appreciate that this motion or this bill has a lot of interest to members. And I've relaxed my order number 13. It can be carried in maybe next week, but I want to put my few remarks on this bill. Mr. Speaker, there should be good clarity, as my colleagues have put, about pension and gratuity. The members who were here last Parliament, 11th Parliament, Mr. Speaker, they have really walked up and down this building near the pensions building because they want to be paid their money. And Mr. Speaker, it has been very difficult for them to get that money, simply because there is no clarity between pension and the gratuity. And I remember even when the SRC, which was led by Sarah Serem, then deducted the salaries for members of parliament. The reason she gave was that members serve on 5 years, 5 years package. And therefore, if you serve 5 years and then the salary is reduced, it is you either to take it or not to contest the election. But then if we're in contract for 5 years, she could not explain why then members of parliament are not paying their gratuity. Because anybody on contract for 5 years also, or 6 years, like it happens, shouldn't be paying the gratuity. So, Mr. Speaker, there is a bill, I think, as Honorable Mwandime put it, there shouldn't be good amendments so that all these issues can be arranged properly. The issue of the first-term members of parliament and their majority in this House, Mr. Speaker, this is the time that also they should take this opportunity, because, Mr. Speaker, we don't know what will happen in 2022. Maybe majority will come back, majority might not come back. So this is the high time to really also try to make sure that they put this order in place. Mr. Speaker, as we do this, we should not forget the members of county assemblies who are also elected leaders. We have also piled cases of former councillors. Even if you go to the villages, Mr. Speaker, these people are really suffering. And they have been following up their money since, I think, almost 10 years ago. And up to date, they have not been able to get this money. It is unfortunate Honorable Savula has left because we should not live in a Utopia world. Because, Mr. Speaker, it is very difficult for a developing country like Kenya to have health for all and free education for all our children and the dependents. So, Mr. Speaker, since that is not possible and the members of parliament are not many, it is good to have their pensions well streamlined so that even if you serve, because we are serving Kenyans, we are not here because we don't have anything else to do, Mr. Speaker. We are here to serve, and also when these honorable members serve, they should also retire honorably and also serve. You know, even after retirement, the many cans that we receive for Harambes and hospital bills will continue following us. So, Mr. Speaker, it is important that we take care of these honorable members through this bill, amendment bill, and I hope Honorable Mwadime has taken a lot of notes so that he can really also streamline this bill to cater for the interest of the issues raised by the members. With those few remarks, I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I just want to remind you the House resolution on July 28th that such an agenda will have 2.5 hours. This item started at 3:42. If you calculate that 2.5 hours, they should end at 6:12, and we must allocate time for the mover to reply. In that case, the other members who wanted to speak to this, unfortunately, you will not have that space. Luckily, there are just a few. Quite a number are actually waiting for the next item. So, in the circumstances, we have the mover replying. Honorable Mwadime.
Oh, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thank members who have contributed to this bill, but members take note that it's for all of us. Therefore, each individual, if he feels he has an amendment, please, you can go ahead before whole House meets. Otherwise, I beg to reply. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Honorable Mwadime, we shall pay putting the question on that. Next order. Order number 12.
Order number 12, motion, audited financial statements for state corporations.
Honorable Chairperson, Public Investments Committee.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kwanza nachukua fursa kuweza kuishukuru afisi ya Spika, karani mkuu wa bunge, wanakamati wenzangu 18, wafanyakazi tofauti walioko katika kamati yetu, na wabunge wote kwa jumla hii leo ambao wataweza kuipitisha ripoti hii ya peji 600. Nina imani ya kwa tangu tulipoweza kuileta hii report na kuweza kuipeleka katika bunge, wajumbe wameweza kuisoma. Na Bwana Spika, hii leo itakuwa ni jambo la muhimu. Naongea kama Mkenya mmoja ambaye alichaguliwa na maelfu ya wanamvita. Naongea kwa niaba ya wenzangu 18 ambao wamechaguliwa na wenzao katika maeneo yao, na bunge hili likiweza kupitisha ripoti hii, nina imani Bwana Spika ya kwa sauti ya Kenya itakuwa imeweza kuwika. Bwana Spika, kamati imeweza kufanya kazi yake, na naiomba kwa unyenyekevu sekta zote za serikali, kwa sababu ndani ya ripoti hii tumeweza kuzungumza na kuweza kutaja watu ambao ni lazima EACC iweze kuwafungulia mashtaka. Tumeweza kutaja watu ambao hawastahili kuweza kukaa katika zile nyadhifa ambazo kwamba wapo katika mashirika tofauti ya kiserikali. Tumezungumza hapa na kutaja ya kwa mashirika yaweze kuchunguzwa, baadhi yao yakiwemo watu ambao wanafaa kwenda mbele ya mahakama, na tumeweza kutoa amri kwa DCI waweze kuhakikisha ya kuwa wale wameweza kupora mali ya umma waweze kwenda mbele ya mahakama wakaweze kujitetea huko, kwa sababu Kenya tunaoitaka sisi ni Kenya ile ambayo kwamba itakuwa haina hali yote ya ufisadi. Lakini Bwana Spika, hii report pia vile vile imeweza kuweka wazi ya kuwa licha ya kuwa kila mjumbe anatoka kutoka chama tofauti tofauti, mimi kama mwenyekiti wao nikiwa ni wa chama cha ODM, Orange Democratic Movement, hakuna hata siku moja hata mmoja wetu hapa alipigiwa na kinara wa chama chake na kuambiwa ya kuwa lazima
I know you know, but just to remind you that please remember that you have 10 minutes.
Nafahamu Bwana Spika.
In moving, I know you know, just to remind you.
Asante sana Bwana Spika.
I can tell you can remember, but just to remind you.
Bila shaka kama mbunge mkongwe Bwana Spika, nilikuwa naweza kusema tu ya kuwa kamati iliweza kuendeshwa bila ya msuko wowote wa kisiasa, na nataka tu kuweza kuzungumza kwa uchache, kwa sababu nataka wenzangu waweze kuzungumza na tuweze kuikamilisha ili iwe sheria hii leo tukiweza kumaliza iwe sheria. Mashirika ambayo tumeweza kuyaweka katika ripoti hii ya 23 ni mashirika 48. Bwana Spika, mengi ambayo kwamba yaliyoko, na nawasihi National Land Commission ambayo iliyowekwa katika katiba kuhakikisha ya kuwa mambo ya ardhi yaweze kutetuliwa kisawasawa, waweze kutoa title deed kwa haya mashirika ya kiserikali, hususan yale ambayo kwamba yameweza kunyakwa na kuweza kuchukuliwa na mabepari. Ardhi lazima iregee ili iweze kuwafaa Wakenya wote. Bwana Spika, pia kuna mashirika wao kwa wao wengine walikuwa wanateta bila kuweza kuelewana, wanadaiana. Tumeweza kutoa amri ya kwa badili ya watu kuweza kupelekana kotini, badili ya watu kuweza kujaribu kulumbana, ni lazima Head of Public Service ambaye kwamba ni mkuu wao awaeke chini, aweze kujaribu kulitatua hili jambo bila ya kupoteza fedha kwa mawakili na bila kupoteza muda ambao kwamba ni jambo ambalo kwamba lina wahuzunisha Wakenya wengi. Bwana Spika, jambo la ununuzaji, procurement, hii ripoti na wasihi wenzangu wakubali kuipitisha ili wale walioweza kufanya ufisadi ndani yake, walioweza kufanya ufisadi wa aina yoyote ya mambo ya procurement katika mashirika haya 48 waweze kuchukuliwa hatua za kisheria, ili hii Kenya iweze kujua ya kwa bunge lina meno ya kuweza kuuma, limeuma na halitoweza kuacha swala la vita dhidi ya haya mambo ambayo kwamba yaliyoko ya corruption. Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kuna mambo mengine tumeweza kuyakataa na wenzangu watakubaliana na mimi. Siwezi kuletewa ripoti kisha baadaye ukiangalia ile ripoti unaambiwa ya kuwa mashirika fulani kama Kenya Power, Kengen, Kera yenye kuhusika na mabarabara, kura, unaambiwa ya kwa muda wa miaka 6-7 hawajaweza kukosa hata jambo lolote moja. Na huku tukisoma katika vyombo vya habari, tukiangalia na tukisoma magazeti, unaona wazi ya kwa ufisadi umeweza kustiri ndani ya mashirika haya. Kwa hivyo tumetoa amri kama ripoti iliyoweza kupita, na tunasema katika ripoti hii yale mashirika ambao tunayashuku tumeweza kupata fununu zozote, ni lazima tuweze kupata internal audit zao, tuweze kupata ripoti ile ambao kwamba yenye kuhusika na management response na management letters, ili baada ya hapo Bwana Spika tuweze kutoa uamuzi kama kamati ya kwa kweli vyombo vya habari vimezua ama kulikuwa na ukweli fulani katika masala yale. Nikimalizia, Bwana Spika, kuna jambo lingine ambalo kwamba mashirika yanaweza kucheza. Hili jambo la riba, interest. Unapeana contract kwa mtu, unaamua kutoweza kumlipa ule mtu kwa muda unaofaa. Ndani ya hii ripoti kuna wale ambao tunawaambia ikiwa watu watadai riba kwa njia yoyote, ni lazima board of directors na wale management waweze kupelekwa mbele na kuweza kusema ni kwa nini wanalipa riba. Bwana Spika, ukisoma hii ripoti, mabilioni, sio mamilioni, mabilioni ya pesa ambao kwamba yangeweza kulipa madeni ya nchi hii yanalipwa kwa mkontrakta kwa sababu ya riba. Kisa na sababu, kuna mmoja anaamua ya kwa hataki kuweza kulipa, ili ile riba ikiweza kuongezwa watu waweze kula rushwa, Bwana Spika. Na Bwana Spika, mwishowe tumeweza kulizungumza hili katika ripoti iliyopita 22 na rais akaweza kulikubali, na tunamsihi tena yale mashirika ambayo board of directors pamoja na wale managing directors, ikiwa kuna wowote ambao hawajaweza kupatiwa nafasi zile muafaka, waweze kuwa appointed, ili tusiweze kuwa na watu walioko katika mamlaka na hawajui hatima yao iko vipi. Na nina imani Bwana Spika ya kwa wale walioko hapa wataweza kuliunga mkono jambo hili na wataiunga ripoti hii. Asante sana Bwana Spika. Namuomba ndugu yangu naibu mwenyekiti Abdisalan aweze kunikubalia katika jambo hili.
Honorable Ibrahim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the adoption of this 23rd report of the Public Investment Committee on the audited financial statement of 48 state corporations today. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, understanding Order 206, this committee is mandated to examine the reports and accounts of public investment, examine reports, if any, of the Auditor General on the public investment, and examine in the context of autonomy and efficiency public investment where affairs of public investments have been managed in accordance with sound financial or business principles and prudent commercial practices. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank members of the committee because we had 90 sittings to examine the accounts of these 48 state corporations, and with a lot of dedication, the committee managed to make this a wonderful report, devoid of any misinterpretation. Mr. Speaker, I want to go straight to the issues, the general issues that is cross-cutting across a number of state corporations as raised by the chair. And one of it is the aspect of ownership of property, land, and equipment. Mr. Speaker, this was also contained in the 21st report that was presented to this House, and also the 22nd report that was presented to this House, and now again contained in the 23rd report presented to this House. A number of state corporations, Mr. Speaker, have no any ownership proof of land or property, and they have no title deeds. Mr. Speaker, a good example is Kenya Wildlife Service. It has 222 pieces of land, and only 48 pieces of that land have parcels of land have title deeds. Southern Kenya University is another one, Kenha is another one, KA is another one, National House Corporation, KPC, name them. To date, Mr. Speaker, a number of state corporations have no proof to show that they are that this piece of land or property belongs to them. It is interesting that once the piece of land does not belong to you, you are not in a position to undertake any kind of development in a given piece of land. That notwithstanding, a number of court cases which is also consuming a lot of money of these state corporations. Mr. Speaker, recommendations have been made last time that accounting officers of these state corporations must move fast and ensure that they liaise with the relevant government agencies to get this land. National Land Commission has been very slow on this issue, Mr. Speaker, and it is our hope that the relevant accounting officers will liaise with them to ensure that they get the relevant document. We recommended that the Cabinet Secretary for Land, Housing and Urban Development and the chairperson of National Land Commission should put caveat on all parcels of state corporations. I mean all parcels of land for state corporations in caveat, such that we don't lose. Mr. Speaker, this was also contained in our previous recommendation. You will find that there is gap in terms of implementation. We have requested last time that the judiciary should also consider giving priority in ensuring that there is a speedy conclusion of these cases. That has not been implemented, and that's repeated in the same report. Mr. Speaker, there is the aspect of procurement and management of contracts. You will find that a number of state corporations have undertook procurement process irregularly, contrary to provisions of the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act. Mr. Speaker, there is the aspect of delay in appointment of accounting officers. There is the aspect of financial performance and sustainability of state corporations. There is delay in availing documents to the Auditor General, of course, contrary to Section 62 of the Public Audit Act 2015. Mr. Speaker, there is the aspect of unqualified opinion. You'll find that the state corporation is given unqualified opinion. The internal audit is showing that there are a lot of issues. Mr. Speaker, a good example is the Kenya Power Lighting. And we had a meeting with the Auditor General yesterday to exhaustively discuss on these matters. There is the aspect of implementation of committee's recommendation. We are repeating the same things now and then, very slow. Last time we recommended that.
No, it's no. You can't have one extra minute. Just a few seconds to finalize that thought.
I conclude, Mr. Speaker, and of course there are a lot of issues, but I second. Thank you.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والثناء لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى وسلم عليه الله وبعد. Moja katika mambo yanayotuliza moyo zaidi na kuburudisha roho na kumpa mtu amani ya akili na moyo, peace of heart and mind, ni mtu kurudi kwa Mola wake muumba wake na kujikaribisha kwake kwa matendo mbalimbali na ibada mbalimbali. Asema moja katika the Muslim scholars, the current Muslim scholars, wanazuoni wetu wa kisasa, Sheikh Ibn Baz rahimahullahu ta'ala, asema wala shay'a yutma'innu alqulub wa yurihu an-nufus illa ar-ruju'a ila Allah. Hakuna jambo ambalo kwamba linaburudisha moyo na kulistarehesha nafsi kama vile mtu kurudi kwa Mola wake, akatubia, akafanya istighfar kwa madhambi yake, hasa wakati ambapo mtu ahisi yuko katika neema ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, au wakati ambapo mtu anahisi anapitia mazito maishani. Ndani moyoni mwetu tuambiwa kuwa kuna vacuum, kuna sehemu ambayo hakuna chochote ambacho kwamba kinaweza ziba ile ufa, inaweza ziba ile sehemu iliyokuwa wazi, isipokuwa mtu kumtambua muumba wake na kujikaribisha kwake yeye. Ikiwa mtu hataweza kujaza sehemu hiyo ya moyo wake na kuwa karibu na Mola wake, basi haitajalisha yeye yuko katika neema wala haitajalisha yeye yuko katika matatizo. Siku zote mtu kama huyu hatakuwa na raha moyoni mwake, kwa sababu akiwa katika raha na anaweza kupata yote anayohitaji, atapita mipaka katika anasa, atapita mipaka katika kujistarehesha, kwa sababu hakuna guidelines, hakuna limitations, hakuna mipaka ambayo inamzuia ya kuwa haufai kufanya hivi na wafaa kufanya hivi. Kwa hivyo huenda ile neema akonayo, yale mazuri amejaliwa na Mola wake yakamwangamiza. Ndio maana utakuta leo mtu amejaliwa mali, lakini ile mali anaitumia vibaya, anazama katika anasa, mishowe inakuwa ni vigumu yeye kujitoa katika ile anasa na inakuwa ni sababu ya yeye kuangamia. Atatafuta raha kupitia mali yake, atatafuta raha kupitia anasa anazozifanya na asipate hiyo raha. Ndio maana usishangae kukuta kuna baadhi ya watu mashuhuri duniani wamepata fame na wamepata wealth, pamoja na hiyo mtu anaishia kujiangamiza, mtu anaishia kujitoa roho. Ni kwa nini? Ni kwa sababu ya sehemu hiyo katika roho yake haijaweza kujazwa. Sio uhusiano mwema itakupatia raha, wala sio mali itakupatia raha, wala sio anasa mbalimbali itakupatia raha, bali ni wewe kuweza kuziba sehemu hiyo ya moyo wako, kuijaza na mapenzi ya Mola wako, kuwa karibu naye. Vivyo hivyo mtu anapokuwa katika matatizo, kuna watu wanakuwa na matatizo madogo, lakini yale matatizo madogo yanawasababishia matatizo hata makubwa zaidi. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu hawana wa kumtegemea. Lakini lau mtu akifungamanisha moyo wake na Mola wake, siku zote akawa karibu naye, akatafuta amani ya roho yake na akili yake kupitia kuwasiliana naye kwa Mola wake, kwa maombi, kwa ibada, kwa kuwafanyia watu mema, kwa kuwasaidia watu wanavyoweza, na kwa kuwa matarajio kwake yeye, basi mtu kama huyu, yale matatizo ambayo atakuwa nayo, hata kama yatakuwa ni mazito kwake yeye, ataonekana ni madogo, kwa sababu atahisi ya kuwa kuna yule ambaye yuko pamoja naye kila wakati na yuko tayari kusikia kilio chake na kujibu maombi yake na kumtatulia matatizo yake. Kwa hivyo hata sisi wakati huu ambapo tunapitia mazito maishani, ni lazima sisi tuweze kuconnect nyoyo zetu na Muumba wetu na kukithirisha maombi na mema, na biidhnillah ta'ala, kwa uwezo wake Allah ataweza kuturahisishia mambo yetu na kutuondolea matatizo yetu, na hilo ndo ombi letu, na Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala atakuwa ni mwenye kutuitikia na kusikiza kilio chetu na kujibu maombi yetu. Wajazakumullahu khaira. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
What's wrong?
Where do I start?
The beginning is always nice.
Didn't you listen to what I said?
Everyone needs
I've been okay so far, on my own.
It's my fault. Wanjala ni mwerevu, lakini wewe pole mzito.
Nimba,
Hakuna.
it's definitely not nothing.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
Judah, my trust is in you. Songa
When Emperor Bindusar tries to make the butter, Ashok asks his mother to teach him the process of churning. On seeing him struggle with the process, the emperor feeds Ashok butter with his own hands. Ashok makes the decision to hang the pot of his mother along with the pots of the other queens at any cost on the occasion of the birth of Krishna.
Wish you a very happy Janmashtami, Queen Niharika. And you too, Ahankara. And even him. Hail Lord Krishna. Hail Lord Krishna. Please come.
Tell us, Emperor, are you ready for the churning?
I won't disappoint you all.
Please come.
Happy Janmashtami, His Highness.
May God bless the both of you. Ahankara, the kids are that way. Go and enjoy the festival with them.
Your Highness' warmest wishes on the occasion of Janmashtami.
Thank you. Warmest wishes on the occasion of Janmashtami to you too. You are welcome.
So worthless. You can't even find out what is inside the pot.
He hasn't left the pot even for a moment since yesterday.
Don't make excuses.
Hey Ashok, happy Janmashtami to you.
You too.
What is in this pot?
Well,
warmest wishes on the occasion of Janmashtami. Warmest wishes to you too. I would like to show you something if you are not busy.
Hey Lord Krishna.
Hey Lord Krishna. Prince, accept my wishes on the occasion of Janmashtami.
Let's go. The veneration is about to start. Come on, both of you. Let's go.
Mir, if there is nothing in that pot, then why isn't Ashok leaving it even for a moment?
I know that as well. But I can't go myself and ask him what is inside that pot.
Your Highness, you surprised all of us today. We couldn't even imagine that you will be able to churn and thereby produce butter without any help.
A person will certainly find a way if they want to please Lord Krishna.
Krishna, when will that day arrive when my mother will be able to stand on the left of my father and worship you?
Queen, we have hanged a pot. However, 3 pots are in excess.
What?
The 4th pot? Where did it come from? Emperor, there were 3 pots. But I have no idea where did the 4th one come from.
Why are we giving it so much thought? Let us just take off the 4th pot.
No, Queen. It is considered to be a bad omen to dismantle a hung pot. By this development, the competition will become more interesting. By the way, I feel that this is a handiwork of one of my sons, so that 3 of you get confused which one is yours. So, the less we give importance to it, their move will be of no use.
The Emperor is right. Let the 4 pots be as it is.
I feel that Ashok himself has put that pot there. Who knows what that pot holds? Why did he hang it so high? I hope there is no important information hidden in it.
Coincidentally, the pot has been hung here. Ashok didn't want to part with it.
Leave.
If Ashok didn't hang it there, then why did he have it with him? Was he trying to divert our attention so that he can...
Your doubt is right, my lady. Even I think that Ashok has hung this pot himself, just to divert our attention. He thinks he is too clever. But I'm not that stupid. Wherever he goes, I will follow him. Today, Dharma and her son will breathe their last.
Today I have been blessed by God. And this is His sign that He is with me. No one can stop me from being victorious now. Today Mir's time is at an end. He's done for. Hail the Lord!
This is a competition between the queens.
That is why I want to break the pot made by my mother and make her the winner. I want to make her proud. her victory will be mine. And I know Brother Sushim well. To prove himself the best, he will not let this opportunity go.
Comrades, listen to me very carefully. You all will have to give your best today in this competition. No matter what happens to the urn in which my mother has filled butter, we will have to break that urn first. I want to see my mother win.
But how will we come to know as to, out of the 4 urns, which one has been filled by the queen?
You need not worry about that. You just make a strong human pyramid on which I can climb quickly and reach the top. As far as the question regarding which one will be our urn, by the time the 4 urns will be hung on the top, I will come to know as to which urn belongs to whom.
Wait here. I'll go and check where he went. Where are you going?
I'm going to the Emperor.
To the Emperor? Why?
To tell him that Queen Dharma wants to meet him. And the Queen wants to disclose the name of the person who, for 14 years, tried to kill her. I'm sure that you all will come.
As soon as we got your letter, we understood that it is an important matter.
Okay, did you find everything what I called for?
It can never happen that you give us an order and we don't obey it.
So then, just attack me. What are you looking at? Attack me? We don't have much time. Hit me. Come on. Hey, don't look at me. Hit me. Come on, hit me. Is that all? In my absence, you all have become weak. Come on, hit me. I understood. You people think that I'm weak, right? That's why y'all are hitting me like this. Don't forget that. I am a great warrior of Magad. I am Emperor Ashok. In order to hurt me, you people will have to work harder and apply more strength. Hail Emperor Ashok! That's more like it. Good going. Carry on. Come on, hit me. Help me! Please help me! Stop! Please don't hit me! You won't gain anything from me! Don't hit me, please! Save me! Somebody save me! Save me! Please help me! Please forgive me! Is anybody there?
Where did they go?
Oh. Now I understood. That it was for you who's responsible for my state.
For me? What do you mean?
I had left a message at Champanagri and she was ready to meet me secretly, do you know? Her only condition was that I shouldn't leak this matter to anybody. Not even to the Emperor. And thinking of that, I agreed to it. At least I'll get to meet her. And I should know that why did she betray the Emperor in the past? As I reached here, I was attacked, do you know?
That is what I'm asking. Why?
They were saying that I had betrayed them. I felt somebody was after me. Now I understood. They must have seen me coming here. They might have suspected that I was bringing you along with me.
Okay. But how is it possible that someone attacks you? After all, you are a great warrior of Magad. How can you give in so much petty fights?
Queen Dharma's son is stronger than me. You will know once he beats you. Not once I could stand up against him. But why were you following me?
Why should I follow you? Don't I have other work? While passing by, I just heard your screams. You were shouting for help, and I thought of helping you. Saving someone invites criticism. Where are you going?
I'm going to the Emperor.
To the Emperor? Why?
To tell him that Queen Dharma wants to meet him. The Queen wants to disclose the name of the person who for 14 years tried to kill her.
If Bindusar gets the hint that I was the one who tried to kill Dharma, he will have me beheaded. This is not possible. This is not possible.
What happened? What can't happen? The Emperor should know the truth, right? And I will tell...
It seems you are deeply hurt, okay? You should sit here. Sit here. Come on. Come. Sit here. Be comfortable. Take care. Be careful. are bleeding.
Please, slowly.
Where else are you hurt? Here?
Hey,
you are bleeding from here as well.
Please, be careful.
Don't worry. Let me tend to the wound. Okay?
Meet Khorasan, do whatever you can, because the day is not far away when you will be begging at my mother and my father's feet to spare your life. I've already trapped you. If Queen Dharma and her son comes to know that I am with you, then what will happen?
Everything will be planned according to you. They will not suspect that I am with you.
So I'll do one thing. I will try to contact them. But this time, you'll do exactly what I say, okay?
Okay.
This Wednesday on KBC Channel 1.
I have earned the trust of Juana. I'm sure that when she collects the money, she's going to let me manage it.
Do you think you're going to have to see her often?
Did something happen to Diego? What is this about?
Why are you acting like this?
Because I want to know everything about you.
In love with Ramon.
Kutokana na janga linalokumba nchi yetu, tumejipata katika hali ya kiwewe. Hali hii imeendelea kubadilisha maisha yetu kwa viwango vikubwa. Kukaa nyumbani kwa usalama wetu pamoja na wale tuwapendao. Kutokana na hali hii, imetulazimu kuwa na mitaa zisizo na watu, milango zilizofungwa na uhuru wetu wa kutembea imepungua kwa kiwango kikubwa. Ila ni wakati kama huu ambapo moyo wa Wakenya wa ujasiri, ukakamavu na uwiano utatuwezesha kupambana na janga hili kama tulivyopambana na majanga mengine hapo awali. Na katikati ya majonzi na kiwewe hiki, bado matumaini yapo. Matumaini kuwa tutaweza kushinda janga hili na kuinuka kwa umoja kama Wakenya. Na tutakaposhinda janga hili, uzuri wa nchi yetu wa kipekee utakuwepo kutusisimua tena. Kwa mara nyingine, tutarejelea yale tunayoyapenda. Tutaelekea kwenye fuo za bahari kujivinjari na tutarudi mbugani kuona wanyama wetu wa kifahari. Bila shaka, tutaanza tena kuunda kumbukumbu za kipekee na wapendwa wetu kwa kutangamana na kula vyakula vitamu. Tutajumuika na marafiki huku tukishangilia timu tuzipendazo. Tutaenda matembezi mbugani na tutajiburudisha tena kwenye mikahawa ya burudani. Pamoja tutashinda janga hili na tutarejelea yale tuyapendayo kwa dhati. Magical Kenya, uzuri wetu wa kipekee bado unatungoja.
Swadakta mtazamaji, hujambo na karibu tena sana katika darubini ya Channel 1 leo hii ikiwa ni tarehe 5 katika mwezi wa 8 2020, siku moja tu baada ya bunge la Seneti kuahirisha hoja ya mfumo wa ugavi wa mapato. Na sasa baraza la magavana limehimiza bunge hilo la Seneti litatue haraka mzozo uliopo kuhusu mfumo huo wa ugavi wa mapato ili kuepusha changamoto za kifedha zinazokumba county. Kamche Menza ametuandalia taarifa hiyo kindakindaki, utakuwa unaipokea katika taarifa zetu za darubini usiku wa leo, pamoja na taarifa nyingine kuhusiana na janga la corona. Lakini kabla ya chochote mtazamaji, hizi ndizo taarifa kuu.
Wizara ya Afya yawafuatilia Wakenya 75,000 ambao huenda wametangamana na wagonjwa waliothibitishwa kuwa na virusi vya corona. Rais Uhuru Kenyatta azindua mpango wa kuwapa vijana uwezo.
We hope that KARA will have been passed for us now to share, because if KARA is not passed by the Senate, and the KARA should not be tied to the formula.
Na baraza la magavana lahimiza bunge la Seneti litatue haraka mzozo uliopo kuhusu mfumo wa ugavi wa mapato ili kuepusha changamoto za kifedha zinazokumba kaunti.
Swadakta mtazamaji, karibu tena sana katika darubini ya Channel 1 na asante kwa kupata muda na kuchagua kituo hiki makusudi tuweze kupatia taarifa zinazokuhusu wewe sana kutoka nje na ndani ya mipaka ya taifa la Kenya. Mwanzo kabisa tuanze na taarifa yetu kuu inahusiana na janga la corona, ambapo Wizara ya Afya imewafuatilia Wakenya 75,000 ambao huenda wametangamana na wagonjwa waliothibitishwa kuwa na virusi vya corona. Wizara hiyo iliyasema hayo huku visa 671 zaidi vikithibitishwa kufuatia upimaji wa sampuli 6,200 katika muda wa saa 24 zilizopita na kufikisha 23,873 jumla ya visa vya maambukizi humu nchini. Waziri wa Afya Mutahi Kagwe aliyezuru hospitali ya mafunzo na matibabu maalum ya Chuo Kikuu cha Kenyatta alisema kuwa kiwango cha uponaji miongoni mwa Wakenya kinaibua matumaini makubwa sana, huku mpango wa utunzaji wa nyumbani ukiwa suluhu nafuu la kudhibiti virusi hivyo. Mwanahabari wetu Purity Museu anatuarifu zaidi.
Wagonjwa wa COVID-19 humu nchini wataweza kuendelea na maisha yao ya kawaida baada ya kutengwa kwa siku 10 iwapo hawatadhihirisha dalili za ugonjwa wa COVID-19. Wizara ya Afya imesema kuwa uamuzi huo uliafikiwa baada ya utafiti wa wanasayansi duniani kubaini kuwa katika kipindi hicho wagonjwa hao hawatakuwa tena na virusi hivyo na hivyo hawawezi kuvieneza.
Using the new WHO CDC guidelines, we don't need to retest you if 10 days after your symptomatology you don't have any fever and you're not using any fever reducing medicines for the next 3 days. So after that 10 days plus 3 days without any symptoms, no fever, you don't need a retest, because studies have shown that even if you retest you after 20-30 days, you could still be positive, but you are shedding a virus that is not infectious, so wasting a very scarce resource that has posed a challenge to our country.
Kufikia sasa wizara hiyo inafuatilia Wakenya 75,000 ambao huenda walitangamana na wale waliothibitishwa kuwa na virusi hivyo. Akiongea alipozuru hospitali ya mafunzo na matibabu maalum ya Chuo Kikuu cha Kenyatta, Waziri wa Afya Mutahi Kagwe alitangaza kwamba nchi hii imenakili visa 671 zaidi ya maambukizi ya virusi vya corona katika muda wa saa 24 zilizopita kufuatia upimaji wa sampuli 6,200.
633 of those people are Kenyans, while 38 are foreigners. 413 are male, while 258 are female. The youngest is a 3-year-old baby, while the oldest is 94 years old.
Kaunti ya Nairobi ilisajili visa vingi zaidi vikiwa 376, ikifuatiwa na Kiambu kwa visa 112, Machakos visa 20, Kisumu na Kajiado visa 16 kila moja. Busia, Uasin Gishu visa 15 kila moja, Nyeri visa 13, Narok na Nakuru 10 kila moja, Bomet na Kericho visa 9 kila moja, Meru visa 7, Mombasa visa 6, Embu, Nandi, Kisii visa 5 kila moja, Garissa, Tana River visa 3 kila moja, Kilifi, Murang'a, Tharaka Nithi, Trans Nzoia, Vihiga, Baringo visa 2 kila moja, huku Kakamega, Nyamira, Samburu, Taita Taveta kisa 1 kila moja. Wagonjwa 603 zaidi wameruhusiwa kuondoka hospitalini baada ya kupona ugonjwa wa COVID-19 na kufikisha 9,930 jumla ya wale waliopona tangu tarehe mosi mwezi Aprili. Wale waliopona wamejumuisha wagonjwa 436 waliokuwa wakitunzwa chini ya mpango wa nyumbani. Katika kipindi sawa na hicho, wagonjwa 3 zaidi wakiwemo wahudumu 2 wa afya wameaga dunia na kufikisha 391 jumla ya idadi ya wale walioaga dunia nchini. Ni siku 146 tangu kisa cha kwanza cha ugonjwa wa COVID-19 kutangazwa hapa nchini. Na huku ugonjwa huo ukisemekana kuenea kote nchini, Wakenya wanaombwa kufuata masharti ambayo yametolewa ya kuzuia maambukizi zaidi. Purity Museo, Darubini, Nairobi.
Purity Museo huyo hapo amekuwa mstari wa mbele sana kutuletea taarifa zinazohusiana na hizi taarifa za janga la corona tangia Kenya itangaze kisa cha kwanza. Naam, shukrani sana. Mfuate kwenye mitandao ya kijamii @Purity Museo. Tukiachana taarifa hiyo, chama cha matibabu hapa nchini kimedai kwamba wafanyikazi wa afya walio mstari wa mbele katika kukabiliana na janga la corona wamepuuzwa, hali ambayo huenda ikaathiri taifa hili. Chama hicho kimedai kwamba wafanyikazi wa afya wamehatarisha maisha yao kukabiliana na janga hilo, ilhali hakuna anayejali maslahi yao, huku wengine wakiwa hawajalipwa mishahara yao kwa takriban miezi 3 sasa. Chama hicho sasa kimetishia kuwahamisha ama kuwahamasisha wanachama wake kugoma katika kipindi cha siku 7 ikiwa malalamishi yao hayatashughulikiwa. Chama cha matibabu hapa nchini kimesema kwamba kimeghadhabishwa na mateso ya serikali za kaunti kwa wanachama wake.
Eldoret is a case yesterday when a shop steward, a branch secretary of this union, demands PPEs and allowances payable to him and testing of his workers, he gets suspended.
If you don't train health workers, if you don't give them the right PPEs, when we hit to the peak and they start dying, they will abandon the facilities.
Chama hicho kimedai kwamba wataalamu wa afya hapa nchini wanakabiliwa na wakati mgumu kukabiliana na janga la corona na wadau wanapaswa kujali maslahi yao.
We must come to the table and we have tried to reach the CS heads so that we can get a round table and discuss the challenges because we are the people who understand where the shoe pinches.
Sasa kinataka kaunti ambazo hazijawalipa wafanyikazi wa afya zifanye hivyo kwa dharura.
We have not got salaries paid to any person within the county government, whether he's a medic, essential service, basic service, environment work, and other professionals. Since May, more or less, we can't go on like this. It's not possible. And we are taking action. Work will stop. It's a matter consequential to non-payment.
Chama hicho kiligusia hasa kaunti za Migori na Uasin Gishu ambazo kilidai zinawalenga, kuwahangaisha na hata kuwasimamisha kazi wafanyikazi wa afya kwa kuonya kuandaa mgomo katika kipindi cha siku 7 zijazo.
We have given enough time for negotiation. If that one has not even given you a good reason to ensure that you implement our agreement, then we will down our tools so that we can negotiate while we are at home.
Matamshi hayo yaliungwa mkono na chama cha kitaifa cha wauguzi pamoja na kile cha wafanyikazi wa serikali za kaunti hapa nchini. Vyama hivyo viwili vinataka kaunti ziwekeze katika wafanyikazi na miundo msingi badala ya kujaribu kuwapuuza wachache waliopo.
The infrastructure, setting up of infrastructure gives them a chance for kickbacks. But you know, when you hire an employee and you pay salary, there's no kickback. I cannot give you my salary because you hired me. You hire me, it is finished. So that's why you can see a lot of effort is going toward the infrastructure.
We want to give a little bit of dialogue a chance because that is what the tripartite arrangement is all about, to negotiate and discuss. If it doesn't, we have the legal option. If it doesn't, we have a strike option, industrial action. And we'll take all these running concurrently.
Aidha, vilihimiza kaunti zihakikishe wafanyikazi wanaokabiliana na janga hilo wana vifaa vya kutosha kwa usalama wao.
Rais Uhuru Kenyatta amesema serikali inafanya kila iwezalo kutumia uwezo wa mamilioni ya vijana wenye talanta hapa nchini. Rais Kenyatta alikuwa akiongea alipozindua ushirikiano wa sekta mbalimbali unaolenga kuwawezesha zaidi ya vijana milioni 30 hapa nchini kupata elimu, mafunzo au hata ajira kufikia mwaka 2030. Kwenye hafla hiyo iliyopeperushwa kwa njia ya video, Rais Kenyatta alisema mpango huo kwa jina Generation Unlimited Kenya utasaidia kuwapa vijana wa kati ya umri wa miaka 10 na 24 ujuzi wanaohitaji kujiimarisha katika jamii. Kenyatta alisema kuwa vijana wote wana nafasi ya kuboresha uchumi, kuboresha maisha ya familia zote hapa nchini na kusaidia kutimiza malengo ya maendeleo endelevu ya Umoja wa Mataifa. Mpango huo ulizinduliwa na serikali kwa usaidizi wa Umoja wa Mataifa na washirika wengine. Pia unaangazia kukuza ujasiriamali na kuboresha upatikanaji sawa wa nafasi za ajira hata wakati huu wa janga la COVID-19.
People across the country are unemployed or underemployed. And the situation that we face of COVID-19 has made the situation worse. I'm also aware that our young people face significant structural, financial, and technical barriers that limit their access to sustainable work. And it's for this reason that I welcome GenU as a platform which will enable leaders, partners, and stakeholders to make investments that will unlock the potential of Kenyan youth and the youth world over. With the launch of GenU Kenya, I expect stakeholders to work together and more systematically to equip the youth with the right education and skills to compete against their peers from across the globe and to create a domestic environment for free enterprise to thrive. This, I believe, will not only attract investments, but will also lead to an increase in job opportunities.
Bila shaka Rais Uhuru Kenyatta hapo akizungumza kuhusiana na nafasi za kazi kwa vijana wa taifa hili. Tuangazie taarifa yake Kamche Menza, ambapo baraza la magavana sasa limelihimiza bunge la seneti litatue haraka mzozo uliopo kuhusu mfumo wa ugavi wa mapato ili kuepusha changamoto za kifedha zinazokumba kaunti. Mwenyekiti wa baraza hilo aliyepia gavana wa Kakamega Wycliffe Oparanya amesema bunge la seneti linapaswa kuidhinisha ugavi wa mapato kwa kutumia mfumo wa awali ikiwa suluhu haitapatikana.
Magavana sasa wanatoa wito kwa bunge la seneti kuafikia makubaliano ili kutafuta mzozo uliopo kuhusu mfumo wa ugavi wa mapato. Magavana hao wanaonya kwamba hali halisi ni kwamba huenda kaunti zikaishiwa na fedha na huduma muhimu, hasa wakati huu taifa hili linapokabiliana na janga la corona, huenda zikakatizwa.
I know it's a very, very difficult time for the health sector combating COVID-19 with health workers' salaries not being paid because of, number one, the usual end of financial year struggles that counties go through.
Magavana wanapendekeza mfumo wa awali utumiwe ili kutatua mzozo huo, na iwapo mfumo mpya unaopendekezwa utaidhinishwa, basi kaunti ambazo zitaathirika zinapaswa kusaidiwa ili kukidhi nakisi zao kwa lengo la kuendeleza miradi ambayo tayari ilikuwa imeshawekwa kwenye bajeti.
If the formula is passed, they should be cautioned either through a special fund provided for by the national government or the equalization fund. And the CARA should not be tied to the formula. If the formula comes, fine. Then the CARA can use the new formula. If the formula is not passed, the CARA can be passed and use the old formula. So what is important is that the Senate should now pass the CARA as is, using the old formula, as they struggle to approve the new formula.
Oparanya anasema kwamba kaunti zinakabiliwa na uhaba wa fedha, akisema shilingi bilioni 29.7 zinazosalia kwenye mwezi wa Juni mwaka 2020 zitatumiwa zote kulipa mishahara.
How do you say that there's no crisis in counties when money has not been released for 2 months? When people, employees of counties, have not been paid for 2 months, and you stand up to say that there is no crisis?
Magavana hao pia wametoa wito kwa vyama vya wafanyikazi wa afya kuzingatia mzozo uliopo kabla ya kuhamasisha wanachama wao kugoma.
Please remain at work for these 2 months as each county sorts this matter out.
Kamchemenza, Darubini ya Channel 1.
Na mtazamaji, taarifa hiyo yake Kamchemenza basi itakuwa na tinga awamu ya pili ya Darubini ya Channel 1. Wewe usinde mbali, nitakujuza kwa nini muungano uliotarajiwa kati ya kampuni ya Telecom Kenya na Airtel Kenya umesitishwa. Lensa Odingo, mimi ni Isaac Lemuka.
When we moved from analog to digital, we took the opportunity to share our talanta. And the rise of local radio represented our voices mtaani. And now, in these difficult times, free educational shows are helping our children learn from home.
Mawasiliano kwetu, nguvu kwako. Communications Authority of Kenya. Opening your world. On the next episode of Behind Closed Doors.
She shouldn't have even been there. This was an issue between Javier, Raquel, and me.
Who are you talking about? Please. I need you to help me get out of here, please. Please. My dad. Get me out of here! Get me out of here! Take her! Get her away! Take her away! Get me out of here!
Sisi Kenyans, we don't poteza a chance to connect na watu wetu.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wait.
Undersea cables and telecom providers gave us reliable and affordable data. And we didn't zuba. We now have close to 40 million internet subscriptions. So umesema ni nyanya ama kitungu? Wewe umesikia nini? And our mobile connectivity has helped us spread our biasharas wider.
Kijana mdogo kama wewe unafaa kununua kama hizi, eh?
And now in these times of crisis, our telecom and data networks are enabling us to work from nearly anywhere. While new technologies open up a digital Kenyan economy that will leave no one behind.
Mawasiliano kwetu, nguvu kwako. The Communications Authority of Kenya. Opening your world. On the next episode of
Kama nilikuwa nampenda, shida iko wapi? Yeye yaruhusiwa kuota wake wanne. Matatizo kwako tu.
Mimi nilihisi kitabu, nilijua kwa wampenda.
Shetani! Mzuka! Usimfuate. Sio ulishakufa bwana. Nini wewe? Jamani. Shetani! Majirani!
Tujali kazi zenu
Na mtazamaji, shukrani sana kwa kuzidi kuwa nami katika Darubini ya Channel 1 awamu ya pili. Hii hapa Lensa Odingo, unamwona hapo. Mimi ni I Lemuka. Tuingie bungeni ambapo wabunge waliostaafu kati ya mwaka 1984 na mwaka wa 2001 wanatarajiwa kupokea malipo ya kustaafu ya shilingi 100,000 kila mwezi baada ya bunge kuidhinisha marekebisho ya sheria ya marupurupu ya kustaafu ya wabunge. Mswada wa marekebisho wa mwaka 2019 kuhusu kustaafu kwa wabunge sasa unasubiri kuidhinishwa na rais kama ilivyopendekezwa kwenye ripoti ya jopo la Akiwumi mwaka 2009.
Hatua hiyo ya bunge la taifa inaambatana na mapendekezo ya jopo la Akiwumi kwamba wabunge hao wa zamani walipwe kima cha $1,000 kama malipo ya kustaafu kuanzia Julai mosi mwaka 2010.
Most of these people, when you see them, the money that they need is basically for medication. Many of them are aging and are sickly, but they have nothing really to even buy medicine.
Tume ya huduma za bunge awali iliidhinisha ripoti ya Kiumi na hivyo kuafikia kuongeza malipo hayo kwa shilingi 100,000.
If one was to look at the current, the best terminology, that somebody who was entitled to 6,000 in 20 years ago, what is the current value of that 6,000, right? Today, so that they can at least, we can try to cushion them against the vagaries of inflation plus all those things, because they serve this country with honor.
Hata hivyo, baadhi ya wabunge wameelezea wasiwasi kwamba kupitishwa kwa mswada huo kunaweza kuathiri sekta ya utumishi wa umma.
It will create a spiral effect within the civil service, in that if the members of parliament can increase their pension to 100,000, what about us?
Mswada huo utawawezesha wabunge wa zamani ambao wengine wamekuwa wakipata kima cha hadi shilingi 6,000 kupokea fedha zaidi. Edward Kabasa, Darubini ya Channel 1.
You may be in the pit. You do not see how you could get out. But the good news is that you do not have to get by yourself. The Most High God is about to lift you out. He's about to turn the medical report. He's about to free you. He's about to open new doors, bringing new opportunities, new relationships.
Kupata The Pit, bonyeza star 811 star 967 hash. Bonyeza star 811 star 967 hash.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
On the next episode,
A lot has been said about the National Youth Service. Granted. But President Uhuru Kenyatta's quest for this institution to be a center that nurtures the youth of this country to serve their nation remains grounded.
The president told us clearly there will never be an NYS3.
Giving opportunity.
Ninashukuru Mungu, without NYS nisingekuwa najua kufanya hizi vitu zenye mnaziona mbele yenu.
Leaving a positive mark.
Yeah, I've been taught to do everything in a garment.
Watch it on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Za biashara zinaarifu mtazamaji kwamba muungano uliotarajiwa kati ya kampuni ya Telecom Kenya na Airtel Kenya umesitishwa katika kile afisa mkuu mtendaji wa kampuni ya Telecom Kenya Mugo Kibati anasema ni changamoto katika upataji idhini za kukamilisha mkataba huo. Mugo sasa anasema kwamba kampuni ya Telecom Kenya itaangazia uboreshaji shughuli zake na kujinufaisha na fursa mpya zilizotokana na uwekezaji katika biashara ya data. Kutokana na hayo, kampuni ya Telecom Kenya sasa inawataka kurejea kazini wafanyikazi waliosimamishwa kazi mwaka mmoja uliopita kampuni hiyo ilipokuwa ikijiandaa kwa muungano huo.
Licha ya jopo la kudhibiti ushindani kuidhinisha muungano baina ya kampuni ya Telecom Kenya na ile ya Airtel Kenya, hatua hiyo imegonga mwamba kufuatia mzozo na tume ya maadili na kukabiliana na ufisadi na kesi iliyowasilishwa na kampuni ya Safaricom kulalamikia deni ambalo halijalipwa. Haya yanatokana na kile ambacho afisa mkuu mtendaji wa kampuni ya Telkom Kenya Mugo Kibati anasema ni changamoto katika upataji idhini ya mkataba huo. Kwenye taarifa, Mugo Kibati alisema kwamba baada ya kutafakari kuhusu hatua itakayofuatia, kampuni ya Telkom imeamua kutafuta njia mbadala na kwamba haitaendelea na shughuli hiyo ya muungano tena. Hatua hiyo imeafikiwa kwa pamoja na kampuni ya Airtel Networks Kenya Limited. Kibati alisema changamoto zilizoshuhudiwa katika kukamilisha mkataba huo zilisababisha kampuni ya Telkom kutafuta mbinu mbadala za kujiimarisha katika biashara hiyo. Kampuni ya Telkom Kenya sasa inaangazia mradi wake wa uimarishaji biashara ya mawasiliano ya mtandao ambayo ilikuwa imeanza kuimarika. Kibati alisema imani yao vile katika hatua ambayo kampuni ya Telkom imechukua inapigwa jeki na kuimarika kwa shughuli za kidijitali kufuatia mabadiliko yanayotokana na janga la COVID-19 ambayo imeimarisha biashara. Hata hivyo, kusitishwa kwa mpango wa kuungana kwa kampuni hizo ni afueni kwa wafanyakazi wa kampuni ya Telkom Kenya waliokuwa wameachishwa kazi. Kampuni hiyo imefutilia mbali arifa ya kuwafuta kazi wafanyakazi 575 mwaka mmoja uliopita ilipokuwa ikijiandaa kwa mpango huo.
As Kenyans, we don't waste a chance to perform. When we moved from analog to digital, we took the opportunity to share our talanta. And the rise of local radio represented our voices mtaani. And now, in these difficult times, free educational shows are helping our children learn from home.
Mawasiliano kwetu, nguvu kwako. Communications Authority of Kenya. Opening your world. On the next episode of Corner.
Julia, honey, what's bothering you now?
Chorus.
What did he do?
He basically said a woman needs a man, that she can't be strong on her own.
Maybe he's right.
Mom, I have never needed a man to rescue me.
Ningekuwa na avoid. Kwa nini? Ni complicated. Sasa hiyo ndio kunishoe unaogopa commitment. Sasa imetokea wapi?
I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Wanjala amekuona tena?
Bado, but na hope atakuja later leo.
I'm so happy. Wanjala akiendelea kukuona hivi, shida zako zitadisappear and he will fall in love with you all over again.
Na mtazamaji, tuingie viwanjani. Mbunge wa Mwingi Magharibi ambaye pia ni mwanakamati kwenye kamati ya michezo ya bunge, Charles Nguna, amesema kuwa Kenya haiko tayari kurejelea shughuli za michezo. Nguna aliyekuwa akizungumza jijini Nairobi alisema kuwa itakuwa ni hatari sana kwa wanamichezo kurejea ugani, hasa nyakati hizi nchi inapokumbana na maambukizi ya virusi vya corona.
Wanamichezo wa humu nchini hawajasazwa na athari za virusi vya corona, huku wengi wakikosa kupokea marupurupu, fedha za kuibuka mshindi kwenye mashindano makuu, na pia kukosa kutia saini mikataba na baadhi ya wafadhili wa michezo. Na huku baadhi ya washikadau katika sekta ya michezo wakiendelea kuhimiza Wizara ya Michezo kuidhinisha kurejelewa kwa shughuli za michezo nchini, Mbunge Charles Nguna ambaye ni mwanakamati kwenye kamati ya bunge ya michezo amesema kuwa Kenya bado haiko tayari kurejelea shughuli hizo.
We know some of our athletes, even they don't have transport means to go to the training venues. We know some of them interact on daily basis with the community, and it is quite an expensive affair if at all we are going to meet all the strict requirements by the COVID-19 rules. And I think we may exercise that, but still I doubt whether our athletes actually will obey the COVID rules here. They go to training, but they use public means. That is wrong. They go to training, and after training they interact with the community.
Mwezi jana kamati ya ushauri ilizinduliwa na waziri wa michezo Balozi Amina Mohamed ili kujadili kuhusu shughuli za kurejelewa kwa michezo humu nchini. Kamati hiyo inatarajiwa kupeana ripoti kwa Wizara ya Michezo. Kamati hiyo iliunda orodha ya maswali ya uchunguzi huku ikishirikisha wanamichezo pamoja na wapenzi wa michezo humu nchini. Frederick Mwoki, Darubini Michezo.
Na mtazamaji, Frederick Mwoki alikuwa na taarifa takriban 3, lakini muda wangu umenipa kisogo sana, niwie radhi. Ungana na Mwoki mwendo wa saa 3 akupatia taarifa hizo na nyingine kwa lugha ya King'eng'e. Shukrani sana kwa muda wako. Hiyo kesho pia tutakuwepo hewani muda na wasaa kama wa leo. Kwa niaba ya wote walioshiriki katika kufanikisha darubini ya Channel 1 usiku wa leo, akiwemo Lensa Odingo, mimi ni Isaac Lemoka na kuacha na utabiri wa hali ya hewa.
Ni matumaini yangu ya kwamba umeshinda vyema. Karibu katika awamu nyingine ya utabiri wa hali ya hewa. Naitwa Mari Yambo. Moja kwa moja tuangazie hali itakavyokuwa katika saa 24. Tukianzia na usiku wa leo ni kwamba kutakuwa na hali ya ukavu kote nchini isipokuwa katika maeneo ya magharibi mwa nchi ambapo kutakuwa na mvua nyepesi tu katika maeneo machache. Ni hali ambayo tutamkia pia kesho asubuhi, hususan katika sehemu za Kitale ambapo kutakuwa na mvua nyepesi katika maeneo machache sawia na maeneo ya Eldoret na Lodwar. Maeneo ya Nairobi, sehemu za kati kutakuwa na hali ya mawingu nyakati za asubuhi itakayopisha vipindi vifupi vya jua sawia na sehemu za Kitui, Kajiado na viungani mwake. Katika sehemu za ukanda wa pwani hadi katika maeneo ya kaskazini mashariki mwa nchi vipindi vya jua vitashamiri, lakini katika maeneo ya pwani hususan sehemu za Mombasa na Malindi kuna uwezekano wa mvua katika maeneo machache. Mchana utakuwa wenye mvua katika maeneo kadhaa zikiwemo sehemu za magharibi mwa nchi, zikiwemo maeneo ya Kitale, sehemu za Kakamega, vile vile katika maeneo ya Eldoret na viungani mwake hadi katika sehemu za Kericho tutarajie mvua na ngurumo za radi. Hali sawia inatarajiwa katika maeneo ya Lodwar. Hapa Nairobi vipindi vya jua vitashamiri sawia na maeneo ya kaskazini mashariki mwa nchi hadi katika maeneo ya ukanda wa pwani. Viwango vya joto vitakuwa kati ya nyuzi 24 na 34 katika maeneo ya Nairobi na Mandera. Maeneo ya Lodwar na Garissa vitafikia nyuzi 33. Na basi kwa hayo na hitimisho utabiri wa hali ya hewa jioni ya leo. Tupate sasa hali itakavyokuwa katika maeneo mengine duniani. Hadi hapo kesho, Maulana kiridhia na kutakia jozi njema. Kwaheri.
Vera Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika, and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET-approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design and soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 22 7428 Thika branch, 0725 000 706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET-approved institution.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Wait, you work here too?
Oh, of course I work here. That was then, and now I'm in class.
What do you mean class?
You are in for a rough ride, my friend.
Kamene, buckle up. It's gonna be rocky.
Hey. You have got to be kidding me.
Mwalimu, they are just lying. I cannot be pregnant.
You are pregnant.
Hello.
Hi.
Where have you been? You're very scarce today.
Shuli ndio mob.
Are you busy now?
Kiasi.
Is everything okay?
Vile tu niko na vitu mob kwa head.
Like what? Maybe I can be of help.
I thought you were busy.
Yes, but for you I can make time.
Okay. Honestly, thanks.
Actually, I could use your help. I need a strong man.
Labda idha ingine, nitakushow nikipata free time.
I found you the prettiest earrings.
That wasn't necessary.
Not necessary for a mother to treat her daughter. Who made that law? There were in many different colors, so I bought you 3 pairs. Julia, honey, what's bothering you now?
Chorus.
What did he do?
He basically said a woman needs a man, that she can't be strong on her own.
Maybe he's right.
Mom, I have never needed a man to rescue me.
Why do you think of it as being rescued, as opposed to being helped?
Because men have a hero complex. I'm not a damsel in distress, just a woman trying to make it work.
I don't mean to take Chorus's side, but women and men need each other.
Did Dad help you out with your ventures?
Of course. And without him, we wouldn't have been successful.
Did you help him with his?
He didn't need me.
Did he even ask?
He had everything under control.
And yet we still got auctioned.
Lucky, the only way we can do this is to approach Angela.
For the first time, we're on the same page.
If I was a man and a boxer, I would knock you out.
If I was a woman, let's do this.
Now, 2 training sessions. That's all you get from me.
Much appreciated, but we have come up with an awesome way to get the crowds in on Friday night.
Nataka kupenda dinga yake Friday afao. Just imagine.
Then, what next?
Show.
Then I think of something else. It's simple as that. So, what do you say?
Well, the idea is great, but it's not sustainable.
Thank you. So honestly, nikwambia zingine unafaa unasikiaga watu wakibonga.
Hey, relax.
So what do we do? Because we need to keep FNF the hottest thing in boxing.
One arms connects the shows.
How?
Like talent search for boxing. It can run for several weeks, then grand prize the car.
Oh, so then like in Idols, every week we kick someone out.
Something like that.
Basi ameisha. Basi ameisha.
Like, how many boxes can you get?
Kama pena dinga itabidi uchuje watu wengine.
That's not a problem. The more the merrier. I can't wait till Jules.
Hata mimi kwanza nataka nibonge na mori wangu fulani na mchezaji huyu.
You only tell people you trust before Abasi steals this idea also.
Abasi atakayoiba my idea yao hezi.
A car, he can afford it.
Anaweza afford, lakini unajua sisi tuko na Wanjala na Frankie Dem. No.
White flag.
It's okay.
Great. I hate quarrels.
Me too.
I'll make it up to you.
You don't have to. But the white flag comes with a condition.
Okay.
We live in the 21st century, Chorus. Hence, male chauvinism should be a thing of the past.
It's not chauvinism when you're trying to help out a
It
friend.
didn't come out that way. You were offensive.
Got it.
Good.
Then I hope what I'm about to tell you isn't because I'm a man, but as your friend who happens to be a man.
What have you done?
I got you another job interview. You won't accept my help with the gym. At least go for the interview.
Didn't you listen to what I said?
Everyone needs...
I've been okay so far, on my own.
I'm sorry I can't stay. I'll hopefully see you soon.
Anytime, Kibet.
Goodbye, Jules.
Bye.
What a gentleman.
How is Wangoi doing?
Mara ya mwisho nilipomwona alikuwa amefurahi. Inaonekana ni kama anaamini mambo kati yake na Wanjala itakuwa sawa.
Na kwa nini isiwe sawa?
Yeye upeana signal tofauti. Leo ameondoka, kesho amempelekea breakfast kitandani.
Anajaribu sana.
Wanawake wanataka zaidi, si kujaribu tu.
Speaking from experience. Now, alilala huko?
Yes, he did.
What was Wangoi saying?
It's not what she's saying. It's how she looked. Happy.
There is a silver lining.
Lakini wewe kijana wako na wanawake, si unajua? Just allow me to say the truth.
Vinci, you sure know how to exaggerate.
Mimi nafikiria tu anataka kumfurahisha Wangoi.
Sio kila mtu ana boss mpoa. Sasa unajua mimi ningekuambia pole, lakini sio ndio ulijitakia. So, unadai aje? Cha hivyo ni cheki. Nilikuwa natafuta Pamela, unajua kuna shughuli fulani tuko napanga naye, my idea fulani za Friday night fights.
Wow, my idea gani hizo?
Nakuambia ma prizes mwenda kijana. Kwani Pamela hajakwambia?
Cheki leo.
Si mnafanya job pamoja?
Nimekuwa na avoid.
Kwa nini?
Ni complicated.
Saimo ndo kakunishoe unaogopa commitment.
Commitment. Sasa imetokea wapi?
Sikiza Saimo. Unajua Pami si wale madem, yani utastring along alafu warushanishe. Kitu cha kwanza bro yake atakumada.
Nani amemrushanisha wapi?
Bora avoid.
Na need space.
Space ya?
Unabongaje kama dem?
Hiyo space unasema una need, kitu tutafanya itafanya mresho wako kusari. Saimo. Sengine sile dem anakunid. Hata unafaa upoe hapo.
Sasa unaweza kubonga kuhusu dem wako Jackie.
Pamela kikamsho nilikuwa namtafuta. Waache kumavoid.
When we moved from analog to digital, we took the opportunity to share our talanta. And the rise of local radio represented our voices mtaani. And now, in these difficult times, free educational shows are helping our children learn from home.
kwetu, nguvu kwako. Communications Authority of Kenya. Opening your world.
Embakasi Utawala tuko locked. Ungem Utanyahururu Kasuku Massive.
Jeshi ya Nyeri Coast Maua na Kura kwa locked mbaya.
Kigumo Ward na ambao wote wako ndani ya KBC Channel 1.
Akulaliki Wednesday bila the ref.
Mbotela Auta Idara Kitengela.
Kiambu County 33 Pipeline Meru anawakilisha.
Rongai Maboksa pale go down. Karatina Auta Mlolongo wana enjoy show. Lare Sub County Auta Githurai 45. Lanet Barracks tuko ndani yake. Okongo Auta Carnation Maragwa Seti
Nairobi.
Fika wako locked mbaya sana.
Watu wangu wa Nakuru Ungwaro.
Auta Gilgil.
Live kutoka Mazeras Bahati Massive.
Embo Thika Massive.
Siaya Shikambi Kakamega Bungoma County.
Kusia Boda Kisumu City. Malindi yote iko ndani ya the ref.
When I'm in Kenya, I tune in to the rave. Get your mind brave, focus, conscious.
Kenya,
East Africa.
Right.
Keep it locked.
Next on.
Is there something going on?
Well, you see, Diego's mother, this woman beside me, abandoned her son to go live with a guy in Miami.
Listen, it's not my fault. I didn't abandon my son. Actually, I came back to take him with me.
That's if I will let you.
So sorry.
You know, I just don't get it. My wife took good care of herself and stayed in bed for months. Why did this happen?
We cannot have answers for everything.
Oh, come on, sister. Do you think saying that will comfort me? What am I going to tell my wife? Now, you knew how much we wanted that baby, sister.
El paraíso
In Love with Ramon.